Hello and welcome to Nolan Financial Radio. My name is Chris McKinney from Nolan Financial Partners. If you'd like more information about what you hear during our show today, give us a call at 719-210-4242 or visit us online at nolanfinancialpartners.com. While at our website, click on the radio page, check out our past shows, and subscribe to our program on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. Like me, you've probably been wondering what the heck happened to summer, but guess what? It won't be long before some of us are looking out the window at the first snowfall and wondering what the heck happened to fall. So now that we can see the end of 2024, it's on the horizon, it may be an excellent time to schedule an appointment with your financial services professional to have a conversation about some potentially valuable year-end strategy tweaks. In addition to reviewing your current status, this kind of meeting can help you conveniently make potential changes to your 2025 financial strategy so that you can head into the new year with confidence. But before we jump into today's timely topic, let me introduce you to my co-host, Tony Shore, who I know is always a little bummed when summer ends because he has to put away his Bermuda shorts, and he's got the Hawaiian shirt, one that you don't have to tuck in.
That's
that
right.
is with the bright colors. I love it.
I don't know if I own any shirts you have to tuck in.
Oh,
that's just me. But never fear, summer will be back, and so will my Bermuda shorts. But for our that's a good one. Well, Chris, I do love summer, but fall is my favorite time of year because it's cool and crisp at night. So I sleep so good with the windows open. So much better than if you're running the AC or the furnace.
totally.
I love the time of year when you leave that off and you just open the windows, and at night it's nice and cool.
Yeah, I agree. We love the fall here on the Front Range.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We get 75-degree days and 55-degree nights.
Yep, that's what's happening.
It's so nice.
I love that. And yeah, it's so sad. Speaking of weather, what happened on the East Coast or down south there, from Florida all the way up through the Carolinas, Georgia got hit hard. Florida, of course, Georgia, and North Carolina.
Asheville, North Carolina. Yeah. I don't know if I've ever been there. It's one of the most beautiful old towns.
I've been there a couple of times. Yeah, I love it.
I don't know how it's going to recover. Now, they had a huge flood a long time ago, and so it was kind of a repeat of that. So
it was
just
bad.
nowhere
They've
for the
been
water
without
to go
power
there.
And so much water.
So many people got hurt.
Yeah, Siesta Beach near Sarasota, Florida. I've been there a few times with my neighbor who had a place down there. And he took a picture of the parking lot for the beach, and it was full of sand and water. It looked like the beach.
Oh, wow.
Right? The sand. Yeah. So the parking lot was full of sand, and at one point about 6 feet of water. And there were photos of it from they have a camera up on a pole that they had shots of, like a weather camera or security camera. Unbelievable. And there's a restaurant there that he and I had eaten at last time we were down there, and the whole first floor was underwater. So a lot of damage too from winds. And so we just, hope and pray those folks are getting the relief they need. I think they've now got, they've got National Guard and all the relief agencies are there. And but that's going to be a long time to rebuild from that. So we're fortunate. We need to realize how fortunate we are to be able to brag about our good weather, right?
Right. They're saying it's the worst hurricane damage since Katrina.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Which was a really bad one. Yeah.
People were displaced for months.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. But on the good note, fall is here. And it'll go by too fast, so enjoy it while we've got it, and heading into the winter and holiday months. A lot of people like this time. I know I know you and your pumpkin spice lattes, Chris. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But
I do have a coffee addiction.
I do too. I like coffee. I like caffeine. Yeah, between coffee and Coke Zero, I get my
Oh,
caffeine fix. Those are my two sources of caffeine.
right.
But hey, we're talking about fall, but we're also
Yes.
October's the time you want to start looking at that year-end list, what you're going to get in order. I know a lot of
Right.
people want, from a tax perspective, from other perspectives, what do we need to be aware of here?
So the first thing to look at is what was your spending plan kind of for the year? How did your spending habits align with your spending plan? And so then look at creating a spending plan for 2025. How do you want to spend your money? Where do you want to go on vacation? What do you want to do with your time? You need to, it's good to figure that out ahead of time, because then you can start planning for that money so that you're not putting money on credit cards. Well, why is that a big deal? Because credit cards are as high as 30% now.
Oh,
So it's super
that's crazy.
important to have a plan for your travel, for all the things that you have to pay for, and then also review where that money went last year. What kind of things that you didn't plan for that happened this year, maybe that's going to happen again. So make sure your emergency funds are where they need to be. You may have missed a few contributions or had to use some of that money. Let's make sure we create a spending plan that will put all those funds back together.
Yeah. Yeah, I think especially going into the fall season, holidays, people
Mhm.
spend a lot of money on the holidays, but
That's right.
but really you want to look at what you've been spending over the past year and put together a plan for the next year to improve your situation or make sure you're staying on track. I think it's also a good time to meet with a financial services professional like yourself
Yes, it
to go
is.
over your finances, get a review. If you're not already working with one, get a review on where you're at with your retirement accounts, things like that, your investments. That's huge. And you've said this a lot of times before. Maybe you made some bad choices, and that don't beat yourself up. That doesn't do any
No,
good. If your
no,
review shows you've spent more money than you thought you did, on things like eating out, just commit yourself to cutting back in the upcoming year and saving
that's
more.
right.
Yeah.
And it's not that you have to stop going out to eat with your friends or stop
Right.
going to the movies or doing things. It's now maybe I brown bag lunch, right? Um, Going out to fast food restaurants has gone up by almost 50% pretty much across the board
Yeah.
because of
Crazy.
inflation of wages. So that $10 we spent in 2021 for lunch, now it's 15 or 20.
Hmm.
So maybe it's as simple as that. That way you can still get all those fun things that you do in the evening when you still pay for those. Try to find ways to offset the extra expenses. And now we've dealt with inflation. We kind of know where things are, so it's a really good time to get the handle on that. Did I deal with inflation well, or did I not? Okay, what can we do to fix that? Or if I did, hey, I'm great. Look how good I am. So maybe that's the case, but it's a good time to look and to meet with that services professional. We go over a lot of things. We'll talk about more of those things in our checklist today about what to do. But you want to take concrete steps
Hmm.
um, to getting things done before the end of the year for tax situations, those kind of things.
Well, I mean, cutting spending for, say, 1/4 of the year so you can
Yeah,
dedicate more money to paying off debt, or maybe you take that money if you don't have a lot of debt and put it into investments or retirement accounts. That
right.
strikes me as a very achievable goal.
Yeah, it is, and like I mentioned, just brown bagging it.
Yeah.
I did some little numbers, and you can save $300 a month just by brown bagging it. So in a
Yeah.
quarter, that's almost $1,000 that you can put back
Yeah.
into your emergency fund.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, and build back up that emergency fund. That's key. That's even,
Right.
that's as important as, well, high interest debt. You want to pay off that first, but
Yeah.
building up an emergency fund is huge. So you don't have to go into high interest debt. You have an
Right.
emergency fund there for when the fridge goes out or you need an, auto repair or the roof, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, make sure you have those savings so you can take the financial opportunities maybe that come up. Maybe you to prevent financial hardship on your money by using a high interest uh, rate credit card. If your freezer goes out week before you're having Christmas holiday meal, you're going to buy a new fridge, and you got to get it in. And so just make sure you review all your debt and make sure that you've got a plan to get control of that. That's a good time to review your debt and your cash flow.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that this is a great topic, and obviously, a solid saving strategy is about more than just robotically funneling a fixed percentage of your paycheck into your savings, though,
Right.
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. There's all kinds of things that we need to look at toward the end of the year. For one thing, it's open season for a lot of the things that you might do through your employer. You should review your 401k contributions, make sure you're maxing those out. Make sure that if you're getting a year-end bonus, a holiday bonus or something, maybe you dedicate some of that money to the 401k and get that thing boosted up. It's open season on a dental plan you want to switch to, or a new medical plan you want to switch to. Make sure that you're looking at the things that you can take care of now that are only able to be done this time of year.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is the time of year to do it. I mean,
Yeah,
and I know this is a busy time of year for you and for financial advisors out there, because this
it
is when
is.
people do their reviews. This is when
Yep.
that year-end review process starts. They're done with the summer vacations and traveling, and they're ready to refocus. So that's so important. And you've always talked about the importance of maxing out 401k or
Yep.
IRA contributions. How does that fit into this conversation or the year-end checklist?
Well, it's a good time to review. Okay, you've had that maybe a monthly contribution. Uh, Make sure that you know what your max is, and so go and review and say, "Oh, am I going to meet my max? Oh, I am. I'm good. Oh, I'm not. Maybe I can get that more money in there. Did I take advantage of all the matching at the company? Make sure you're doing that. Don't turn away free money. Make sure that is aligned with your goals. Um, so you have until um, the end of the year to do 401k type things. IRAs are a little different. Personal IRAs are a little different. It's when you file your taxes for next year. You can still contribute for 2024. So those, make sure you know what the IRA contribution are and how much you can put in. I'm working with a number of clients that they had to pause their IRA contributions this year because of financial situations, right? Well, hey, maybe they're in good shape now and they need to get those restarted again. But maybe you need to write a big check to cover those months that you weren't able to put the money in. So make sure that you're doing those kind of things. I'm working with all my clients right now to get those type of things done.
Yeah.
The other things that some of my clients are asking about is that Roth conversion plan. So they want to
Ah,
talk to me about Roth conversion plans, and so we're sitting down and looking at Roth conversion plans and how that can help reduce your taxes in retirement, so that you can take care of your taxes while you're working and then not have to worry about tax rate hikes when you're
yeah,
retired.
yeah.
And
And
as
you
we
talk
know,
about
taxes are
Roths
going
a
to change.
lot. You talk
Yeah.
about Roths a lot, and I think it's important, but especially this time of year because of the tax implications, now might be the time. I mean, the end of
Yes.
next year, taxes will probably go up. That's the
That's right.
conventional wisdom. We all know taxes will eventually go up. They have to. And that Tax Cuts and Jobs Act have our taxes currently for a lot of folks out there at historic lows.
Yes, it's true.
And I think especially if people are in the higher earners, they're really going to want to do the Roth conversions now if they can, or they have Roths. But for anyone, having that tax-free income available in retirement is huge. And maybe now's the time to pay tax on the seed, not the harvest, because
That's right.
tax on the seed is going to be a lot less in the long run. So I think that's why you're bringing that up now, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And the other thing about paying the taxes now, you're going to pay it with money that you're making, right? So that's how you should pay the taxes on that, not with money that's inside that retirement plan. And so that way you're not spending your retirement plan on taxes. So what if you had a tax-free retirement? Well, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, that would be really good because people think, well, I'm going to be in a lower tax bracket in retirement anyway, but that isn't always the case.
That
In
is not
fact,
always the
more
case.
and more, it's not because people um, they don't realize that all their accounts that are
Yep.
pre-tax, tax-deferred accounts, that's all taxable. Even up to 85% of their Social Security is taxable.
That's right.
Inheritances, which you start receiving, you might receive an inheritance as you enter retirement, or these things.
Right.
You'll have tax situations, and you want to make sure you've got some tax-free income, right?
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And a lot of people that are retired now still have some pensions. I still have people coming to the office that are retired and have pensions. And so they're having to balance that against how they manage their taxes. But some of them don't. So it's like, okay, get let's get those taxes paid so we can reduce our risk, because the risk is the taxes are going to go up. So we want to reduce that risk as much as possible by managing the amount of taxes that we're going to owe Uncle Sam, and we can get that done. And one of the great things that the government has done is they pushed back required minimum distributions on those 401k and IRAs, so we have a little bit more time to work with before those kick in.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Well, let's let our listeners know right now. Let's take a moment to let them know if they have questions, want to get a plan in place, want to look at some of these options and get that year-end to-do list, check those items off. How can they get a hold of you to set up that no-charge consultation?
To get a complimentary consultation, give us a call at 719-210-4242. Check us out at our website, nolanfinancialpartners.com. We've got a lot of great information out there. It's a really pretty site. It's got horses on it. We love horses. So go check it out. Give us a call at 719-210-4242. That's the best way to reach us so we can set up that complimentary consultation.
All right. Well, that sounds great, Chris. And this is such an important topic. I'm glad we're talking about it today. What's next on the agenda? What do you want to touch on next here? I mean, you talked about Roth conversions, and I think it's a great thing. What else do we need to look at here?
Yeah. So the other thing that we always talk to our clients about is rebalancing portfolio. I mean, maybe you had something in your portfolio that just skyrocketed and did really well during the inflation period and pandemic and the post-pandemic highs, but maybe that's not the right place for it next year. And so it's you're too heavily weighted in that one thing because it grew so much. Maybe we need to rebalance how our strategy is looking at. Maybe we're getting closer to retirement and we want to, pull back our aggressive growth stance and look at because we're going to be spending that money soon. If we're going to be spending money soon, we really have to look at a different way of how our assets are allocated.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a great point. So asset allocation, rebalancing things like your stocks, bonds,
Mm-hmm.
annuities, life insurance, or any other type of financial vehicles, making sure
That's
you're
right.
in the right financial vehicles, your assets are properly allocated for where you're at. And really what you're talking about there, Chris, is the timeline, what your time horizon is for, if you're a year out from retirement or less, you need to make sure before the end of the year you've got things properly taken care of and aligned. Even if you're 10, and then if you're 10 years out, you want to look at where your finances are at, where things are headed, and rebalance. I think you need to do that at least once a year, and I know you do that with your clients, right?
That's right. We look at it quarterly, but we want to sit down with our clients at least once a year to go over it with them so they understand what the plan is, because we don't just want to have a plan that they don't know about. so we have a plan for them. Every client has a plan, and it's individual to them, and we want to make sure that they understand where they're going with their money, and it's how it's going to work for them, because we got to have that money working for them. That's key. One of the things that a lot of our clients worry about is beneficiaries. And so we always try to ask them at the end of the year, is there any change to beneficiaries? And sometimes they're like, oh, yeah, we do need to change that. So make sure that all your accounts, uh, your insurance accounts, your financial accounts have beneficiaries named, and that they're the people or trust or whatever it is where you want it to go. And
Yeah,
make sure it
that's
matches
true.
your will. It needs to
Yeah.
match your will too.
Yeah,
Because
exactly. Yeah. So beneficiary designations are huge
yeah,
because you've said on previous shows, Chris, that they take precedent over what you can say. I want all of my assets or this and this to insurance policy or this money from this account to go to this person or go to this kid or go to my. But if your beneficiary designation says something else, that takes precedent. That's the legally binding
yeah,
thing, and it doesn't matter what your wishes are or what your will
no,
says. If that says it goes to a previous spouse who you were only married to for a year 20 years ago, and you didn't change that beneficiary designation,
yeah.
that's why you need to review those every year. Plus, there are life changes, right? Like
There's
marriages,
life,
divorce.
yeah, life changes, and then there's new kids, and
Yeah,
maybe you want to add them to the will or the
yeah.
trust or whatever you got going on. Make sure you're getting all those things done.
Or maybe you've all year you've been listening to the Nolan Financial Radio podcast, and you just love that co-host Tony Shore so much, you want to add him.
Right.
I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. I'm
I
kidding. I'm kidding.
it would be well spent.
Yeah, money well spent. No, but yeah, and there's no reason that you should navigate any of these things on your
No,
own when there's people to help you, and you've got to look at those beneficiary
right.
on all your forms. A lot of times, insurance, any type of account, your IRAs, your 401ks, review what you have. You think, oh no, it's right. And a lot
Right.
of people do that. You've probably seen this happen where people go, oh no, I've got my wife and kids on there. And it turns out they don't. They haven't changed it since they got married, and it just
Oh
had
yeah.
their parents or something on there, right?
Right. Had their parents on there. Parents have been not around forever.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
The beneficiary designation is going to a deceased person. You've
yeah.
seen that happen too, I
Oh
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
Seen that. Then hopefully if they work with me, they have contingent beneficiaries.
Right, yeah,
So
obviously you want contingents.
we always have
So,
contingents because of the way the world works.
yeah. So
So the
what's
other
wha
thing, yeah, the other thing we wanted to we really hit on with our clients is tax preparation. So this, you have till December 31st to do things for taxes. So if you have
Right.
moves you need to make for taxes, get them done. So maybe you had a loss and you want to harvest that loss, right? Maybe you want to do that Roth conversion plan. And so you want to have those taxes hit you before. So you need to get those done before the end of the year for that Roth conversion plan. So all these things must be realized before December 31st. So what I tell my clients is it's got to be done before Christmas. Okay. Because guess what? Financial institutions, they're just like you and me. They don't want to work all that much between Christmas and New Year.
Right.
So
None of us do, right?
we target mid-December to get everything done before the end of the year. So we want to get everything done by December 15th that we're going to do, whether it's Roth conversions, or realizing some losses, or whatever kind of tax situation we need to take care of.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's really good advice. Look at those. Maybe you have tax losses, capital losses. You need to figure these things out. And again, don't go it alone. Work with a financial professional. Work with your tax professionals and get that taken care of. This is an excellent reason to meet with somebody like yourself. And I love the fact, Chris, that you don't charge for this consultation. People can come in. There's no charge, no obligation. And if you'll look at where they're at and say, hey, here's what you should be doing. And if they don't want to continue working with you, fine. If they do, that's great. But you need to get a second opinion.
That's right.
Or a first.
Right. A first opinion or a third opinion.
Yeah.
So that is the challenge for couples, is sometimes they both have opinions and they haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah.
And so when
exactly.
when we get in that room, sometimes both opinions come out and they're like, I thought we were going to do this. Well, I thought we were going to do this. Oh,
yeah.
We're not on the same page.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it.
That can be troublesome.
Well, it's not, I wouldn't call it troublesome. I call it a good place to start.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I like that. Yeah. But let's look at the glass as half full.
Yeah, because it's good that they have an idea, and they have each person has an idea. Well, let's figure out the best place to go forward from where we are. Right? We are where we are. We have these ideas that we got from our parents or from people we work with or whatever about finances. Let's get all that out in the open, and so we can talk about them, so that we don't have misunderstandings going forward. Because you want to do it now before you're into retirement, because all of a sudden now you've got a plan that you didn't plan, that somebody else planned for you, and you didn't get what your thoughts into it. So you want to have your thoughts into your plan by having a written down plan. That's how it happens.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
The next thing I want to talk about was the credit agencies. So do you know what your credit score is? So a lot of the banks are now offering free credit score assessments. So you can get like one of the three companies credit score, like Chase, I know, offers it. There's a few offer that as part of just their banking, because they check on your credit score. They know what it is all the time. So it's good to review what your credit score is. If there's any incorrect reporting, any identity theft, any forgotten purchases maybe that's out there that you forgot to pay and you want to pay them, you can pay them, you just didn't, right? Maybe it's a copay at an urgent care clinic, right? And so they threw it up on your credit report, and so there it sits, and it was like, it's a copay. It's $25 or $30 or $40, whatever your copay is. Easy to pay, but they're sitting out on your report, dragging your report down. So look at those, because the better your credit score is, the better you'll get for rates for mortgages. They'll pull credit for renting an apartment, purchasing vehicles. If you move your insurance companies around, whatever kind of insurance, whether it's auto, health, anything, they're going to check your credit score. So you can get a free complimentary
That's
copy of your report at annualcreditreport.com. Okay. Don't
that's annualcreditreport.com. That's
yeah,
a good resource. Yeah.
annualcreditreport.com. Do not go get fooled by the ones that say, "Oh, we'll just charge you $1." Okay,
yeah, no, don't pay. Don't give your credit card number or payment to any. Don't pay. No. And even on those sites, there's things like sign up for our pro version and
That's right.
Sign up for this or that or for your credit protection. Nope. No. Just go there and get the data that's available for free. Right. Yeah, and then you'll be set. Well, hey, we're out of time. I didn't even realize it didn't. I thought we'd maybe gone through half the show, and I looked, and I'm like, wow, okay. Time flies when you're having fun. So, Chris, a great show today. Listeners, thanks for tuning in. But, Chris, before we go, let our listeners know one more time how to get a hold of you.
You can reach us at 719-210-4242. Check our website out, nolanfinancialpartners.com. Give us a call. Set up that complimentary consultation, 719-210-4242.
All right, and that does it for today's episode of Nolan Financial Radio.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.